Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Markose. It's a real pleasure and really happy to share some of my experience and what we're up to.
No, outstanding. I know we just talked about one of our good American friend, Bruce Porter, and his brother, the other Porter. I know you've been on their show pretty much, on a daily basis?
I've been appearing since last December. I think it was actually November maybe, on there every day. When I say every day, 5 days a week without fail. So it's great that we're actually covering all of everything that's happening in the market, but also traditional as well, because there's always a crossover between the two. So what happens in the traditional world with the Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, when he changes interest rates, when they have changes to inflation, all of these things, geopolitics, we discuss that quite a lot. So all of these things impact crypto, in fact, all risk assets. And it's really interesting to see how it affects and the way coin has been developing. Now we have the BIT approval, the ETF. The way the whole sort of ecosystem is evolving is really interesting. And it's some interesting discussions we have every day.
Nice. No, I know, because whenever if you guys are chatting with Bruce Porter or the Porter brothers, it's always holistic, really great alpha, great insight. And speaking about insight, Matt, we need to take some few steps back. I want my people to know about Evai.io. I want to show some love to you. I want people to know what's that all about and why should people care about Evai.io protocol. I assume that's the name.
Okay, yeah. This was born kind of the way Bitcoin was born. Bitcoin was born in 2009 out of the financial crisis that happened then. And it was the problem of centralization where the ratings agents at the time were misrating assets. They were basically rating things as AAA and these collateralized mortgage securities, which were basically a pile of junk, and they were rating them as AAA. So they're misrating, and they were doing it because they were centralized and they were being paid to do it. So they had a conflict of interest. And so because of that, I went back to university to do a master's degree late in life. And because of that,
Nice.
I decided, let's have a look how we can do this better, because centralization is the core, it's the root of most problems that mankind has suffered throughout the ages. Centralization of power and abuse of that power. So this is what gave me the idea to build a decentralized rating system, and what better asset class to apply it to than the most difficult, the most volatile, the newest emerging asset class. It needed a rating system because nobody actually really understood this new asset class properly.
Sure.
And rather than have so-called experts trying to rate 20,000, 50,000, however many assets there are out there, rather than have a panel of so-called experts with their own biases and axe to grind, I wanted to create an unbiased system using the very latest technology, so artificial intelligence technology and adaptive computing technology. So I wanted to harness the power of these technologies to give people an honest rating of the crypto assets, to try to empower traders, buyers and sellers of cryptocurrency how to do it better. Because if you ask any single person, why do they hold the assets they hold? They might hold 10 cryptocurrency assets. You'd say to them, why do you hold those assets? They might say, my friend told me this was a good one. I like the name of that. And then, why are you holding them in those proportions? I'm just holding them in equal proportions. That's not very scientific. It's not the way investment portfolio building should work. This is a genuine investment asset class. We had retail adoption right back from 2009 all the way to this year, where we basically got the first real institutional adoption with the ETF approval. So now we're going into a new era of investment where it's a lot more scientific, a lot more methodical, and it needs proper grown-up methodologies, a rating system which is fit for purpose. So that's how we developed Evai. That's how it came about. We wanted to develop something which was unbiased, so it fit with crypto being unbiased, decentralized, but also harnessing the latest technology to empower ordinary people. So in the past, the ratings were available for the big institutions that could pay the big money to influence the ratings agencies. We turned that model right on its head. So cryptocurrencies don't pay us to rate them, to give them a good rating. We actually provide free ratings for anybody to access these ratings for free, so anybody can use them. Yes, we have a range of paid products, portfolio building products as well. Obviously, we have to make money, but there are free ratings products available to anybody, so you don't have to pay us money. It means that anybody can benefit from this, and people need a bit of proper information, a proper guidance how to build their cryptos. So that's how we came about and what our ethos is about building this rating system.
Yeah. First of all, thank you for sharing your origin story and the meaning behind Evai and what it's all about. And also, as just for the audience, say, look, I've been a witness. I knew about Evai, I believe, around 2021. I remember through our friends from Candor. That is how I learned about Evai actually. And you guys were the first to talk about AI, using AI technology for unbiased ratings on different crypto assets. Guys, Matt has been early in the game, and obviously, in terms of if you're providing a great service that is valuable for humanity, for the marketplace, you absolutely should be paid. And of course, with full disclosure, compared to what we've seen in 2009, I remember living in the States. I have family members whose 401k, which is a retirement account in the United States, turned into 1Ks. You know what? And there are many reasons why this kind of a tragedy happened. Is because of what we talked about. The rating system has been faulty, has been corrupted, and I believe here 2024 we have a great chance, an incredible opportunity to really change the game and an important role, not as a central entity, but each of us can play a role. And definitely having tools like what Matt is offering and his team through Evai is a game changer. So that being said, Matt, I gotta ask you, there's so much going on right now in the month of April. And in 10 days time, we got the Bitcoin halving. We're seeing all these crazy narratives. AI is coming in. The coins is bonkers, crazy. So I need your help. What are you seeing right now? What's happening? Is there something we are missing? Are we being distracted? You tell me. So
I think currency itself isn't a kind of magical asset. It is a new emerging asset class. But we have to remember it's not a magical asset that's just in a box and different from everything else. It's actually related to everything else. And we need to come back to, and when you're thinking about cryptocurrency, people have particular favorites. They might like Coin, they might like Ethereum, they might like XRP, whatever their favorites might be. But actually, what we're trying to do is encourage people to take a grown-up approach to currency investment. And the grown-up approach is not just picking one asset that you think might be the asset for the future. By all means, have a bit of a gamble on a particular asset. But overall, we're trying to teach people that the sensible approach is through diversification. And this is what we've built, is built on Nobel Prize-winning research, Markose theory, which talked about holding within your portfolio as many uncorrelated assets as possible to manage your risk and reward. And that's really where we're at in this world of craziness at the moment, the world of risk. We've got the US economy at the moment. It's a kind of mixture of overheating with inflation still on the rise potentially, but also there are pockets of the economy dipping down into recession. There's many signs talking about the inversion of the yield curve, the decrease in money supply, those kind of things, which are telling us recession is ahead. So it's a very kind of mixed up world. And then we've got all the geopolitical risks that we've got with Israel and the Middle East, and we've got Russia and Ukraine, and we've got China and Taiwan. And there's so many things bubbling away in the background. And whilst all this is going on, we've got Bitcoin gradually maturing as an asset. You talked about Bitcoin coming up in just a matter of days now. And that will mean, of course, that the number of coin being mined is cut in half. The reward for mining, is cut in half. So it means that this new supply of Bitcoin will be cut in half. And in fact, Bitcoin will have a better stock to flow ratio than gold after this upcoming halving. So what that means is that basically there's less new supply in relation to the amount of asset there is than there is for gold. And we've just seen gold today again hit a new all-time high.
Yeah.
And the reason for that is because everybody is beginning to worry about inflation picking up again. The Fed were talking about dropping interest rate, and they keep putting it back and putting it back and putting it back. And the last time they said we're going to do 3 rate drops this year. And now with the latest figures that have come out, the US economy, employment is still booming, unemployment is virtually all-time lows, and there's so many things in the US economy that are almost overheating that they can't lower interest rates. And so this means that there's a big issue with inflation coming up. So with the concerns about inflation, Bitcoin is becoming that digital gold, that safe haven. So at the same time we're seeing all-time highs in gold, which is a traditional hedge against inflation, we're also at or near all-time highs in coin, which is digital gold, which has such similar characteristics to real gold because that very limited supply that we have, and growing demand. So we've got the ETFs now with the demand for Bitcoin. It's a great backdrop, a great story for coin. And then we've got other ETFs which will probably be authorized and regulated. We don't know when. It's been put off now for Ethereum. They were talking about May. Maybe it's been put back a year. Who knows? But this is an unstoppable force. So we had retail adoption, Bitcoin from 0 to 69,000. Now we're in new territory for coin, new all-time highs, and we're still above that previous all-time high of 69. So we're touching again. We're round about all-time highs. We heard about Bitcoin potentially $1 million. We thought it was absolute rubbish a year or two ago. But now, with the amount of institutional money that's lined up, you talked about 401ks and potential institutional investment fund. One of the CEOs of one of these Bitcoin ETFs said that if institutions were to hold, these portfolio managers to hold 5% of their assets in Bitcoin, it would mean a coin price of 3.26 million per Bitcoin. Yeah. Now, we're not saying that will happen overnight, but it's just telling you that that potential that we thought was utter rubbish is a real possibility. And who thought Bitcoin would be 70,000 plus when it was just a few cents 15 years ago, or 15 years ago now, isn't it?
It's been a crazy ride.
Absolutely crazy ride. And just tells you to expect the unexpected.
No, sure. Yeah. No, speaking about the unexpected, I guess aside from the Bitcoin ETFs, I know, when I go on LinkedIn, a lot of people talk about it. A lot of people are talking about the big halving. Are there any events, economic, geopolitical, or do you expect any black swan events in 2024? Don't want to sound alarmist, but just curious.
The very definition of a black swan event is one which is completely unexpected and nobody could foresee. So that's the very definition of a black swan event. But do I expect surprises? I do believe that we will be in for some surprises. And I do think that I could be completely wrong, because the one thing about what really brought about what we're doing with diversification and building sensible portfolios, diversified portfolios to diversify against risk, it doesn't mean put all your money into currency. It means hedge in different asset classes to hedge your risk, because genuinely nobody knows the future. We can't tell what's going to happen, but we can assess the risks. And as you rightly say, there are risks out there, potential black swan. So I do think that there's a strong likelihood that things could erupt and become wider. Things could in the Middle East, because we saw, for example, recently we saw Israel bombing the Iranian consulate in Syria. Israel are kind of fighting for their survival, but then everybody else around there's a kind of the proxies, Iranian proxies roundabout are all closing in on Israel. So I think too much blame is being focused on Israel, because you have to bear in mind, and again, I don't want to get into politics, but Israel were attacked a few months ago now, and it's a kind of response to that, almost in survival. So there's no right or wrong. I'm just saying there's risks out there. It could escalate. Same with Russia, Iran. Russia have been backed into a corner because it looks as though they can't win this war. And we know that when a wild animal is backed into a corner, then they lash out. They're at their most dangerous. And who knows what Putin could do. So there's another potential black swan. In terms of economics, if there were to be some geopolitical issues and oil price were to rise yet again and grain prices rise yet again. So that's what happened last time when the Russia-Ukraine war started. We got the oil price going through the roof, and we got grain prices and food prices going through the roof. They spiked inflation, and that's what caused the big inflation spike last year that caused the Fed to raise interest rates so dramatically. And if that were to happen again and inflation were to take off yet again, then that is going to hit all risk assets. And Bitcoin has a dual personality of being a risk asset and at the same time being a safe haven asset. So it reacts like digital gold, but at the same time it reacts like a risk asset. So in some ways it's great, because risk assets have great potential to rise when there's a lot of liquidity in the system, but also they have, being a safe haven asset, it has that safe haven characteristic. So I think if you're asking me to tell the future, I do believe that some of these risks will come to the fore in this year that we're in now, whether it's geopolitical, macroeconomic, or a combination of the both. And they're walking a tightrope the Fed are walking a tightrope in America, trying to manage an economy which has these mixed signals of potential recession coming, but also potential overheating with inflation. And they can't deal with both at the same time. So they're walking a tightrope, and they're in danger of falling off that tightrope. So that's one of those potential black swans. So if one of these black swans were to materialize, then it will affect all of these assets, including cryptocurrency, including Bitcoin. And I think they will be hit hard. But I think the coin will rise out of the ashes ahead of a lot of other risk assets, because it has those digital gold characteristics, the store of value, only ever 21 million in existence. So I think that after a potential price correction, price crash, whatever you want to call it, if this black swan hits, I think Bitcoin will rise out of the ashes. So long term, I think the coin future is solid, is really robust, because as we've said just now, there's only ever going to be 21 million. The last coin we mined in something like 2140.
Yeah.
So the supply of coin, the new supply of coin is going down and down every 4 years at half. And yet the demand is going up in coin ETFs with institutional funds. And we're seeing, there's only 21 million. How can you share that between such a massive demand? And we've seen that really with the history already of the ETF. The only ETF that's really seen any selling was the GBTC, the Grayscale Trust. And that was because people bought into that at a massive discount before it was turned into an ETF. And they're just profit taking. And it's being recycled. Also, the fees on GBTs are so high, and they're just moving from C into the others. But we're seeing a net inflow into the ETFs as a whole, and that is supporting price. And I only see that really growing in the future. Overall, I think we'll see some big bumps along the way, as always seen with crypto. Don't forget, coin was banned in Russia, banned in China, banned here, banned there, banned everywhere, and yet coin has continued to grow and get new all-time highs. I think it's going to continue to be a very bumpy road, maybe a little bit less bumpy now we have the ETFs in place, but in general a bumpy road. But in general, I think we're heading in the right direction, and I think Bitcoin has a real future as a major world asset.
Yeah, but what do you think about Ethereum? Would you also put it on the same level as Bitcoin Core?
The Ethereum, we were supposed to be getting the Ethereum ETF was supposed to be authorized possibly around about May time. I understand that's been put back quite a lot now because the SEC is still talking about it potentially being a security, because it's now basically a proof of stake, and you have validators and it's centralized. And so there's going to be a big issue over that, and that could affect other cryptocurrencies. And the other thing is with Ethereum, of course, there's a lot more competition. Coin is the grandfather of crypto. It never really has any competition. The nearest thing to coin is probably Lite, which is built in a very similar way to Bit. But in general, coin is unique, it's the grandfather, and it doesn't have any real competition. But Ethereum does have competition. People are building more and more on alternatives. On Solana, for example. Now, Solana, we know it has big congestion issues right now, but I think that the future is bright for Solana as the next major retail chain. So Ethereum has competition. It has big problems still with escalating gas fees and with congestion itself. And so there's new up-and-coming tokens, new ones which are still to come to market, which are looking really interesting. But Solana is certainly serious competition to Ethereum. So I think obviously it's a major token, but I just think I would be looking to diversify. I would never put all my eggs into one basket, not even into Bit. I would look to diversify and don't put too much risk into anything. There's enough good tokens out there. If you're just focusing on crypto, obviously I'm talking about you should focus on all assets. Even the crypto sphere itself, there's enough good assets out there that you can diversify. So if Bit isn't the coin of the future, then perhaps it's Solana, perhaps it's perhaps Power Chain, who knows? One of these tokens could be the next one. So don't put all your eggs in one basket. Diversify, and I think you'll be a winner long term.
Oh, yeah. No, said. Totally, definitely in agreement with you. I just want to go back. I want to talk about with the current market, they're driven by these narratives. So, we're seeing meme coins going buck wild crazy. Is the AI narrative still strong, or are there any other narratives like Deepen or say artificial intelligence or maybe real world asset narrative? I mean, what are you seeing out? What are you seeing out there?
Yeah, absolutely, you're right. I think the meme coins are a bit of a craze and a phase, and I don't think that. I mean, there's some good meme coins out there which actually develop into something really useful and really good and really exciting. On the gaming side or whatever. The book of memes was just amazing. What a story. But I do think that meme coins will probably have their day. And I think the focus will come back to solid technology. So I do think AI is still going to be the theme of the year. But real world assets, again, that is obviously, again, an ideal application for crypto. And definitely that's also, I do think the big themes with gaming, with AI, with real world assets, tokenization of these assets. You can tokenize virtually any asset. And there's advantages to be had. There's efficiency to be found. And also democratization democratization of holding of assets, even property, for example. Democratization. Ordinary people can't hold certain commercial properties they might want access to, but you can with tokenization. There are many things that the technology democratizes things for everybody. So I do think that but I think AI is the big narrative, and that's why, as you say, we got on it early at Evai, and we use techniques and we use adaptive computing techniques. And when you think about it, we actually rate at the moment over 700 tokens. There are many more tokens. Most of them don't have liquidity to be worth thinking about. So we focus at the moment, and actually we have an automated system automatically picks up tokens that have enough trade volume, enough liquidity, and the metrics that we need to be able to rate them properly. So our system, again, is decentralized. It just picks up tokens automatically that have the right enough data, basically, to rate them. And so when you think about this over 700 tokens we're currently rating and trying to find the ideal portfolio, so what we're using is modern portfolio theory with the efficient frontier. And all we're doing is trying to build the best possible mix of assets to give you the best possible return for the amount of risk that you want to take. Now, the rotation required for that is phenomenal. There is actually an infinite number of possibilities. When you talk about 700 tokens with an infinite differential of holdings between each token, it's an infinite number of calculations. And so you have to use modern computing techniques, modern artificial intelligence to be able to do all these calculations, to come up with a rating that's meaningful and empowers ratings and trading decisions. And so that's why we've had to use AI. And it's only recently that the AI computing has been powerful enough to do this level of calculation to create the ratings. And we've had a bumpy road ourselves. We've been in development, as you said, for now 4 or 5 years, actually, developing what we've developed. And it's not easy. Sometimes you go down a road and it becomes a dead end and you have to go back and start again. But we now have something which is genuine, which is actually using recognized Nobel Prize winning research and applying it in a meaningful way that helps people.
No, I do recall. I'm sure it must have been quite a long journey. Definitely, I'm sure starting this project, you and your team have learned a lot of lessons, had to overcome some challenges and stuff. That's part of the entrepreneurial spirit. And especially being in this high-end tech space, I think it's, for me, it's like I have seen a couple of startups, even including yours. Definitely highly appreciative of what you and your team have been doing and just provide some great values. I'm glad that you're doing this. I'm glad that I got to meet you early and see how you guys grew. So it's really cool to see that. That being said, I'm coming to a close. What's the next step with you and your team? What you guys are planning to work on, or are you working on some stealth secret project maybe?
Yeah, we're working on a lot of things at once. So we're continuing the evolution of the Evai rating system will never stop because nothing stands still. A Formula One racing car in the 1950s is completely different every single year because it develops. It might have been the best at the time, but you continue to develop and evolve. And AI itself will continue to develop and evolve and get better and better. So on top of just the natural evolution of the Evai system that will continue, we are actually just in the process, and it's going to happen probably towards the end of this month. We're actually migrating to Solana, and you might think that's a bold move right now with Solana congestion issues that they have, but we're very close to people connected with the Solana Foundation. We know what's happening there, what development is going on, improvements are going on to solve these congestion issues. So we're migrating to Solana, and we'll probably have a governance system in place. We're actually revisiting all of our tokenomics and utility, so we're reissuing the token on Solana. We're actually going to be launching basically a proprietary fund whereby 50% of the profits, or a large proportion of those profits, will be used to buy and burn the Evai token. So it'll be like BNB, the Binance token, basically buying and burning our own token. So it will affect both supply and the demand. So the supply of Evai will diminish and the demand will continually increase. And so that should give an upward pressure on prices. So we're looking to really completely revamp and reinvigorate the Evai token on the new Solana network. So that will all be happening at the end of April. We'll be coming out with our app, which will be notifications on the app. If you want to know what's happening in the crypto world, what's the latest token, it should be perhaps including in your portfolio. Then we'll have an app to give you a notification to follow the Evai ratings and keep up to date with all the latest changes in tokens. So that's the app coming. And as I say, this fund is going to be absolutely groundbreaking because it will be a showcase. It'll be like a shop window for the Evai technology itself. The fund will be effectively a decentralized fund run using the ratings, which are fully automated, and the profits will be translated via buy and burn back to the token holders. So this is an amazing utility for the Evai token, and it's an amazing showcase for technology to just show people what we're all about. So they're the main development. Obviously, there's loads of other things on the map, but they're probably the biggest things that we've got coming out in the next 1 month that people can get involved with. Again, we'll probably update you, keep you in the loop about what's happening there, because it's going to be some major opportunities, I think, people. Yeah.
No, this is big news. Wow, I don't know. Congratulations. Nicely done. Yeah. And that was the end of this month. Oh, wow. Okay. And I'm just thinking because we got like Token 2049 here in Sunnyside, Dubai. You got the whole week of different events and just a lot of interesting stuff going on. So really good timing. So yeah, I'm sure you and your team.
Timing is everything, particularly in current. Timing is key. So as you say, it's a season. We've got Bitcoin halving. They're just about to solve all the issues with Solana. Prices are booming. We're going to be, I'm sure we're going to be breaking the all-time highs anytime again with coin, but with other assets as well. So timing is everything, and we're here at the right time and with the right people as well, because it's not just about timing. You've got to have the right people involved, like yourself, but we're also including a lot of the big influence. So we've got some really good backing for Evai now, and we're going to be involving some of the biggest influencers in the space. Those who particularly focus on AI technology are going to be helping us to push out this. It's going to be a new raise, which is going to help push Evai to the next level in terms of being the AI token, we believe, of the future, to enable everybody in the crypto space to make better trading decisions, better decisions regarding their portfolios.
Yeah, that's really cool, and definitely excited for you guys. And Matt, thank you so much for taking the time. Definitely would love to bring you back, not for a podcast episode, but I think me and my buddy George from Blockchain DXB, we just started doing these LinkedIn live streams. He does cover quite a lot of new stuff, and yeah, definitely would love to get you on that live stream just for folks to know some great info on trading, and also what you're working with your proprietary fund. I think to me, I personally feel that would be really interesting for a lot of people out there.
Yeah, all of our community have been asking for this for years, and obviously the regulatory space has been developing and evolving itself. And now we believe we have the way forward. Regulatory approval is coming to enable this, which is going to be a groundbreaking opportunity for people. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk about this today. Obviously, I would love to continue to stay engaged, catch up in the future, to speak on other shows. And yeah, it's amazing. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, you're welcome. So, hey, guys, glad you got to connect and learn more about Matt Dixon from Evai Protocol. Great to have him on the show. And definitely, this is not going to be the last time. There's more coming. So, anyways, we got to go, folks. So, y'all be good. Y'all be safe. We'll talk to you soon. Bye for now.
Thank you, Markose. All the best.